Afternoon, we'll call the regular council meeting to order. First item would be adoption of the agenda.
Move. Second.
Adoption, all in favor? Motion is carried. We have for approval minutes of the regular council meeting of September 6th.
Move. Second.
On approval, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. We have for approval the minutes of the public hearing on September 6th.
Second.
On approval, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. For receipt, the committee of the whole minutes of September 13th.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. So first recommendation to that was that the permissive tax exemption bylaw be forwarded to council for first, second, and third reading.
Move.
Second.
And we'll be seeing that later in the meeting. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Secondly, that the zoning bylaw amendments for bed and breakfast be forwarded to council for first and second reading and public hearing.
Move. Second.
Again, we'll be dealing with that shortly. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. And thirdly, that the replacement of the gravel sidewalk in front of the Blackfin Pub with a concrete sidewalk be considered in the 2018-2022 financial plan.
Move. Second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion is carried. And then fourthly, the committee, that the draft provisions for mobile food vending as outlined in the report and the business license bylaw and public places bylaw, Park with Parks, be amended to incorporate provisions for regulating mobile food vending.
Move. Second.
On that, all those in favor? Motion is carried. Moving to the management report for receipt.
Move.
Second.
Receipt, all those in favor? Motion is carried. Anything other than the management report? Discussion this evening?
One issue that maybe I could ask some of our people on solid waste. So it's my understanding that the organics collection is going to be done, and then we're going to truck it up to Campbell River. And yet it seems to me that we produce a lot more waste than Campbell River does. It seems like that to me would be backwards. Is there some way of getting a cost of, so we could understand whether that's an economically feasible thing or how that would work?
Oh, well, wouldn't we just love to answer that? Actually, together, yes, there has been a change in our organics. At least we're going to stop and take a second look, thanks to very diligent staff. They are, in fact, going to consider perhaps other locations, and we will hear more about that probably January. It'll come to the board in March. So
it's not
So it's not a done deal yet?
it is not a done deal.
Excellent. Thank you.
There you go. Okay, anything further on the management reports? Seeing none, we'll move on to the, where are we here? Oh yes, rezoning application for 337 Church Street for third reading.
Move.
Second.
Anything further on third reading? Of course, this was what we had the public hearing on. Okay, all those in favor of third reading? Any
Move
opposed?
adoption.
Thank you.
Second.
On adoption, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. All right, CBRE minutes of the board meeting August 29th.
Move.
Second.
Receipt of that, all those in favor? Motion is carried. And bylaws for consideration of first, second, and third reading, the Comox permissive tax exemption bylaw.
Move.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion is carried. And that will be brought forward for adoption in October. It have to be done by the end of October. Okay, Comox zoning bylaw amendments for bed and breakfast. So the recommendation is that bylaw be given first and second readings.
Move.
Second.
Any discussion?
The date has been set, and the date is?
Sorry, well, first and second reading is what we're doing first.
Yeah.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. And the public hearing is scheduled for October 4th.
So move that.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Oh, yes.
So the public hearing will be during or after our council meeting of the 4th of October at 6:30. Okay, on Knight Road, looking for adoption of the repeal bylaw for the sanitary sewer extension.
Move.
Second.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor? Motion is carried. believe we have a press release on that to issue. And, following this meeting. Okay, and does that bring us to correspondence? It would appear it does. So correspondence, so this is a letter from Simon Cycles.
Receipt of that.
Second.
See all in favor? Motion's carried, and their concerns expressed regarding bike parking at nautical days. So, staff, I see there's a nice picture, well, not such a great picture next to the ice cream truck trailer, but is there anything that staff can comment on in that regard?
The correspondence has been forwarded on to the Days Committee for consideration and for planning of next year's event.
Okay. And our rep on nautical days, I believe, is you?
Yeah, there was concern because of the way they set up things, that the one bike rack had to be moved because it's in an interesting place right in the middle of that walkway there. And that's that would be north of the washroom building and towards the park side. And so that was moved, so that took away bike parking as well. But maybe that's something that could be looked at, say with this, and relocate that so it doesn't have to be moved.
Okay, so nautical days can get back to us on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the other idea might be, depending on how much need there is for it, whether the Cyclone Coalition would provide their service for bike lockup, which they do at some events.
Yeah.
I know they do that. Well, they do that at Filbert.
At Filbert.
Yeah. So
I guess the problem is it's the same time.
same time.
Yeah, and where to put it here.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Short of Simon Cycles launching a new bike rack.
Well, it sounds like a nautical days issue to
Yeah.
work out.
All right. We'll refer that to nautical days and see what they come back with.
I'll bring that up.
Thank you. All right, so nothing further on that. We received the letter, and we'll just let them know that's what's happening. And so, no other late items, delegations. Reports from members of council. I know we've gone through this agenda pretty quickly, but I just wanted to perhaps comment on the length of our reports from members of council. They're starting to stretch out a bit. So just a reminder perhaps that if you have something new to report that hasn't otherwise been reported on traditional or social media, or perhaps hasn't already been referenced by another member of council, we don't necessarily need to do like a roll call of all the things we went to. So perhaps we can keep that in mind on a going forward basis. I know in the past we've talked about that and trying to keep it to what's pertinent and relevant to members of council. So with that, not really a warning, it's just a suggestion.
You sure this is the only time I had a really lengthy
Short of me bringing an egg timer, I guess you said, but I was going to suggest otherwise. So, all right, so we'll turn it over to you, Councillor.
Oh.
There you go.
I did attend, it was a hero meeting. It was affordable housing, and Rachel Blaney, the MP, was there and wanted to get just a discussion going about issues regarding affordable housing. So I attended that. That was in one of the ministry buildings over on Grant Avenue in Cormie. Interesting. She took a lot of information back with her to Ottawa. And this is part of the Bill C-325, I think it is, that she's trying to bring up and bring awareness to this issue out here. So I attended that, and I'm sure there's something else that I think that I forgot about it. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay, Councillor Cangrett.
Okay, well, I will do, how about if I talk about our water, and I'll leave sewer for the gals. But at our water meeting on September 12th, one of the things we did was we increased the DCCs at the regional district level, mainly on industrial buildings. It was a big increase, as we did with our, did we do it on commercial or industrial there? I forget which one.
It was the institutional
Yeah.
and industrial.
And that has been sent to the developers group for comment, although they have read it and didn't really have a lot of comment on it, but they were kind of surprised at how big the increase would be on industrial. So that was a bit of a concern, but the rest of them all stayed pretty much, they went up a little bit, but not too much. We did have an in-camera meeting, and then we rose and reported out of that in-camera meeting. So what happened there was that the chair of the water committee will be writing a letter to the village of Cumberland and council to request a detailed outline of their plan, including what financial plan they put in place for the remediation issues associated with Perseverance Creek. So that's been an ongoing issue, and it's starting to come to a head, and we just want to know what Cumberland's doing and what they're and how they're going to do it. They have hired a group to look into it. Tetra Tech, I believe, is their group. The problem is that they've commissioned a study, so we don't know what the scope of that study is or what the terms of reference are. And my concern there is that what Cumberland may think is a good fix may not be what we think is a good fix. And so we're trying to get to the bottom of that. And so that's the direction we're going. We're trying to put the heat on them to get something fixed to resolve that issue, because about 65 to 70% of the clay and stuff that's coming down that is coming out of Perseverance Creek. So it would have a big impact on our water supply. So that's what's going on. At last night's RD meeting, we had the integrated Regional Transportation Select Committee, and so that came up for discussion. It was similar to what we had here, and at the end of it, we all kind of went, we're not sure what they're doing or what the scope of what they're trying to do is. It sounded as though they were trying to flip this into a regional district service at some point. Nobody was really very keen on that, so we sent that back and said, could you give us a little more update on what the scope and where this is trying to go, so that we can all get a little better feel for what's going on. So
that was the question that we asked at last council meeting from here.
Yes.
Exactly. The other issue that came up out of that was the multi-use path, and they're looking for us to contribute some money. It's not very much, it's about $2,100 from us. They're doing it based on how much of the path would be in your area, and there's only about, was it 300 meters, I think, something like that, so it was pretty small. But in discussions with that, I asked them if this was going to be a multi-use path and how we could make that work, and sort of some directions. And it came to light that only about 800 or 900 meters of this would be multi-use, and the rest of it, as they were starting to design it, would be more of a bike path. That went over like a lead balloon at the committee. That's not what we were all looking for. It's not the plan that we had. Everybody's looking for a multi-use trail that you could have bikes and walk and tricycles and strollers and all of that on. So that's kind of been sent back to, for more review and come up with a better plan. And I think, as Edwin said, we'd rather this take longer and we get it right and rush through, and there's got to be a way to make that work. And of course, it all started with the issue of how you get down Comox Hill without being right on that road. And there are some ways you could do that, but you would need a lot of cooperation from a lot of other agencies. So that was really the bulk of the discussions at the regional district. I'll let Barbara take the rest, but that was the main thing on those ones. So I'll leave my report at that.
Okay, Councilor Margaret.
Thank you. Should I divide it in the middle?
No, carry on. We all know different things.
Solid Waste Board meeting on Thursday attended, and probably the big news is the construction of cell number 1 is complete. The landfill is now in operation. The leachate treatment facility will be ready in early October. And the other issue, of course, as far as they're concerned, is the cost. The cell, in order to have that up and running, is $7,321,049. The leachate treatment facility is $8,545,000. Now, the leachate treatment facility 2, though, will service all 3 of the cells, so that cost won't be repeated. And the life expectancy of this cell is approximately 6 to 7 years. Also, asbestos, starting in October, all of our asbestos is going to go to Campbell River. They have a 5-year airspace left in their landfill, and so they're going to be able to accommodate us there. Organics, of course, as mentioned, and waste to energy. The study results keep going around at our meeting, and our next meeting in November, we're going to get the results of the studies, and so we'll be coming up with some decisions soon thereafter. Hospital, soft opening, of course, in the Comox Valley is October the 1st. The grand opening is yet to be determined. And of course, everyone knows that we will not be paying for parking. And seniors, the best news of all, have 914 members. And they have great plans for the fall.
Awesome. Councillor
How's
McKinney?
their parking?
It's free.
We're all on school.
It's not very good, but it's free.
Glad you said that.
Councillor McKinnon?
Yes, as acting mayor, I was filling in for the mayor, had some conflicts at some events, and I'm not going to editorialize about each event, but I will mention this quickly, and to say, and council knows this, that each group appreciates mayor and council coming to these events and representing the town of Comox. And we seem to do it as well, if not better, than other councils. So without further ado then, I represented the mayor at the School District 71 at North Island College International Student Welcome on September 10th, the 30th year anniversary of 19 Wing Comox Military Museum last week. The Chamber of Commerce mixer was hosted in Comox at the Berwick Center, which I think is very good, and it was they were appreciative of having a council member there, or the mayor, acting mayor there. The CIBC in Comox hosted a pancake breakfast for cancer research. Again, a good turnout there. The 19 Wing Comox Terry Fox Run on Friday. I attended a Vancouver Regional Library Board meeting in Nanaimo, the details of which have been mailed to you by email. If you have any questions, read it and either talk to me or bring it up at the next council meeting. And finally, on Sunday, the Battle of Britain Memorial Service at 19 Wing Comox, representing the mayor as well, and the United Way kickoff breakfast on Monday. So I'm wondering, Your Worship, attending all these events for you, I'd like to revisit the request for a wardrobe allowance.
You gotta have free food.
I hear your suit got hung out to dry, but
In any case, that concludes my report.
quick question for you. I noticed the increase of just under 4% on the library budget, and that it was approved unanimously by weighted vote. But we have been hearing from some communities, in particular Port Alberni, they weren't too happy with those increases. So was there much discussion around that?
There was, and I brought up a point as well that at the UBCM, would there be overtures towards for the provincial government, which has cut library funding since the 1980s from 23%, I think, down to 9% or 8%, and there are meetings planned to meet with the provincial government, perhaps to get some relief there. That was brought up. I brought that up at the end of the meeting, saying that it's a difficult sell, even though the library programs are very admirable, but to have an increase each year at that rate is something that's a tough sell to communities. And
Yeah, particularly when our budgets are in the 2 to 3% range, and they're up close to 4%. So, and I know it's a very small item on our tax bills, but
yes, there was reference made to cost of living and other increases, and they were less than the budget increase. So that was brought up, and they were trying to keep it reasonable for taxpayers. And it did pass, but I wasn't the only one there. There was others around the table that did bring up that concern.
okay, thank you. Councillor Price.
Yes, and interesting about the free parking at the hospital, it'd be interesting to see how much parking there is. We were there looking at the bus stop and the proposed bus stop, and the parking, the ground floor, I didn't go to the top of the multi-storey, but was full, and someone made the comment, North Island College uses it a lot, so there may not be parking there, but
And employees,
yeah, so it'd be interesting to see. And so we did do a tour of where they're proposing for the bus to stop and what's currently there. So there will be discussion at the Committee of the Whole for the Regional District to make a decision on, final decision on what works for safety and convenience and routing. At the Sewage Commission, we also recommended increases in DCCs, and they are also going out to the development industry. There was some concern about the large increase for industrial DCCs. We also received the plan for the sewage system emergency response plan. This is for the whole system not just for if there was a spill at Willamar Beach, so at Willamar Bluffs. And most of it, I think, has been covered by Councillor Grant. Or in the paper, we renewed the Wisdo exchange program. We also tendered the design work for the Greenwood trunk, and it's proposed that that will be built in late summer of next year. And I think that is all the salient points.
I'm gonna ask them if they're check cleared before we voted for it.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Councillor Swift.
I attended the Sewage Commission meeting, the solid waste, and hospital meetings, and I think they've all been covered ably by others. The only thing I would suggest is if you know of anybody who wants to deal with asbestos, that they check out the website, because there are limited hours and there's certain procedures and you need bags and so on. So please check it out before you decide to do that. And the only other thing is I did attend the Filbert board meeting, and I would encourage everybody to attend the Apple Press Party this Saturday from 10 till 2:15.
I'll just report on a couple things. Councillor Arnott and the CEO and I heard from the BC Coastal Pilots. They were here to talk about some of their concerns on a going forward basis with some of the things that they do, and it was a good presentation. And I think, did we get some information circulated? I can't recall. So if anyone's interested in more detail, I'll try to get that through Twilight.
Excuse me, Your Worship, would that be harbor air type?
No, it's tug pilots. Pilots that go on the boats, and
Oh, okay.
they go up and down the coast with the cruise ships and other vessels. So yeah, it wasn't those kind of pilots. So yeah, they're just concerned about having some of their territory taken away from them, and of course they perform a very important role, and they have a 99.9% success rate. So keeping ships off the rocks. They did point out that the recent event with the Nathan Stewart, the tug up in where it was near, I can't remember now that place where it was off again, up the interior anyway, where it went on the rocks, that was exempt from their requirements because it was a vessel of a certain size. So they took some concerns around that back to, I guess, whoever does their...
Yeah, that was in the Central Coast, Bella Coola
Yeah,
area.
that's right.
I think it was. Yeah.
So anyway, they had a good presentation. A couple of other events I attended which conflicted with some of the things that Councillor McKinnon attended on my behalf. One was the Wing Commander Open House at HMC Esquadra, and I chose that one over the North Island College School District because they were promoting their Stampede award-winning burgers. So I had to go check them out. And you were at that.
Yeah, I was there too. I forgot. Sorry.
Very good burgers. Anyway, it was good to see everybody there, a good representation of the community. And also, another one I had to choose was the Ribfest judging over the Battle of Britain. That was tough. Tough job. But I managed to get through it. And
Theme here.
all the providers won a prize somehow. And I was quite satisfied with the whole process. Sorry, I missed out on that, Councillor McKinnon.
Thanks a lot.
Well, you know, you might have had to get your suit dry cleaned because
Good point.
Suit. You didn't have a suit.
And I'll just mention next week is UBCM. I know that I will be there, as will Councillors McKinnon and Price. We have security meetings with the Minister of Health to talk about future rules for St. Joe's. And we'll be meeting tomorrow with Jane Murphy and Chris Kelsey on that to get some information. And also the Minister of Aboriginal Relations, Scott Fraser, to talk about things going on with KFN. And we're still, I think, still waiting to hear about transportation. But we do have a meeting with Hydro. Yes. And why are we meeting with them again?
Talk about the beautification program.
Excellent, great. So those will hopefully be productive meetings along with everything else. Yep.
All the power to you.
Not sure if you know, but Cassandra Dyke, who was living up here,
Yes.
is now, I believe, at EA to Adrian Dix.
She is, yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll have a chance.
She's moved down to Victoria. So
She'll have
that's
some local knowledge.
good connection there.
Yeah, so I think indicated to her that we'd see her at ECM. So
And I mentioned the meetings in regards to the library.
Yes.
So that's in the works as well.
So as we go there, there'll be lots to report back on in early October.
And the times of those meetings, are you?
Yes, we can provide those to you. I know Twyla had circulated some information, but may not have gotten onto your schedule, so make sure before you go tonight, because I got it here.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so other than that, I think that does the agenda other than media questions. Nope. So a motion to adjourn would be on.
Move. Second.
All in favor? Meeting adjourned. All right.
Did John give you all the ins and outs about the
too long for your report.
Because
I'll try to keep it
sometimes,
Okay.
you know, I'll try to
Well,
probably
go
and
on.
ask for some update or some
I think you
set things and other those go up now.
So we have a meeting with Scott Fraser.
Okay.
She's having their
Oh, yeah, meeting.
Yeah, so I can drop by and
Oh, yes.
last week, but I
And we're still,
high school's meeting.
Oh, yes.
yeah, I'll talk.
I can't imagine somebody election comes. It's gonna happen.
Until I get up to somebody.
Yeah.
ACC.
Jersey, I heard the Sam stuff. So you just had that. Yeah, I've got one.
Do you just want that sent to you on the email, Mark?
Easy.
Yeah, I'll just send it to you. You and here, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, thank you.
So, all the meetings we have so far.
Just for the taking notes, all councils.
Well, it's nothing more.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
You guys should.
That's what I want, but I
Well, that's the thing, I wanted to put that first on and wouldn't let me because I didn't know the price and stuff. So yeah, of course, so that's what I got thinking I should. Yeah, because there was that one password, there was one welcome or something, or welcome one.
Yes.
Oh, gee. Yeah.
Upside down J.
It's interesting.
Well, online, I have.
It was coming to me, like, because I get the